Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Thank you for tuning in to 88.1 FM WHPR. I am Valerie Bonner, also known as Black Coffee, and I have in the studio with me Mr. Tamuk Scruggs.
How you doing this evening?
And Tamuk does a lot of things. He's written a book called I Effed Up, Now What? Tamuk has also started an organization, Positive Brothers of Today, but we're going to put all of that out of the window and my work with SOAR, etc., out of the window, because today we're talking about breaking our own heart, the red flags of dating. What does that look like? The red flags of dating. So where you find love when you're 45 or 50, where do you even look for love, and where do you find love? You know, is sex on the first date a red flag? So let's just start right there. Is sex on the first date a red flag?
I guess it kind of depends on the individual. With me being who I am, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've been an angel. I've met some young ladies that we connected well enough for me to, and for us to decide to make that kind of connection. And so we did what we did. We had a great relationship to it. And I've also met some individuals that it didn't quite last. So it just depends on the person and the situation.
Well, to me, sex on the first date,
No sex on the first date?
Well, you know, it boils down to a respect factor, because I guess it looks at, I would look at it as, you know, is he going to still respect me after today? Yeah, we grown ups and we making a decision that if we want to be intimate at that moment, but later on down the line, I feel like there's some repercussions about that sex on the first date. Like
what repercussions?
Does he even value you? Like, does he value you? Because if so, he would have been a little bit more patient also. Now, I'm not saying, you know, some people be like, well, I'm not having sex with anyone for 7 months, you know, or whatever. And I wouldn't go that far saying that, you know, you have to wait 7 months to have sex with somebody. But sex on the first date, okay, let me put it this way. You know, there are double standards between men and women, Tamuk.
Yes,
so if I go around and I'm just a hitter and I'm hitting every dude on the first date that I meet or whatever, then you're going to classify me as a whore or something.
Well, I can see where that happens.
But you can keep hitting and then you just a man.
Well, you know, I'm in a very unique position. So, and I understand why there's that mentality amongst our society, because, again, like you said, there's the double standard. And it has always been the thing for men to be out here and active, and sexually active, but and not be okay for women. And that's because women are held in such high regard that they are never supposed to be looked at as unvirtuous. And based on, you know, a lot of religious values and things like that, you had that. But for me, I'm a believer of individuals are grown. Once you become grown, you're an adult, you understand the consequences. Do what you do. Then don't be concerned with what everybody else tells you or says about you, because at the end of the day, you got to live your life, and what's best for you is going to be what's best for you. As long as you understand the consequences of your actions, have your fun, live your life.
I I just don't know about that, Tamuk. I don't know. Sex on the first date. Man, I wish we had call-in numbers because I see Robert Craig. Hey, Robert Craig. Hey, Stephanie Rochelle. I even see Bub from Bubba's Barbershop chiming in, and I would love to hear from all of you fellas. But if you can type something, I want to hear about it because I feel sex on a first date coming from a woman's perspective is a no-no. Like, there are some boundaries, and them boundaries, those walls gonna be up on the first date. I don't care how attractive I find you. I don't care how grown I am or whatever, because my biggest fear would be you will never let me live that down. Well, and I will always be looked at and perceived easy from that day.
Well, you know, and I tell this to guys through anything that I go and mentor at or mentor to, we talk about these type of things, because at the end of the day, you can never thrust onto somebody else what you don't feel about yourself. Because I tell them, you can't be looking at a female like she's, you know, loose or easy, and because she slept with you on the first date, because that means you slept with her on the first date. So if she's easy and loose, that must mean you easy and loose.
Well, I got some feedback on my line. Robert Craig said, hater, let it go. But Bubba say, nah. Bubba say some people have love at first sight and have sex on the same night and be together for 13 years. Stephanie say, I couldn't do it at the age I am now, nor when I was younger did it once. But she's saying now in her 40s, and unfortunately she couldn't be here. But thanks for chiming in, Stephanie, and keep those comments coming. Now, Bubba said, you know, you can get with someone, it be love at first sight, you hit it, and you don't quit it. You there for 13 years.
It's a beautiful situation.
Sean Ransom, hey, Sean, said nothing wrong with sleeping on the first date. Women want it as bad as men do.
There it is.
And Robert Craig said, not for me. That's right, Robert.
Listen,
not for me.
I'm just gonna say, there's some folks out here that's just gonna fake they comments today, because the reality is, if somebody presents the package that you have been looking for, why would you turn that down simply because of the time factor? Because I'm gonna tell you. So, and this is just a specific situation. My previous wife, our first, we
Nah, don't have your car windows knocked out when you get out of here.
I ain't concerned about that. So, we knew each other, but we didn't really know each other. And then I sent her a message one day, back in 2010. She looked at the message, never responded. 5 years later, I don't know what happened, but she looked and was like, hey, you know, what's going on? Why didn't we ever hang out? So about 6 days later, over the 6 days, we talked, text, and then on our first date, we went out, and an hour and a half into that date, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. But things like that happen. Yeah,
they do. They do.
I mean, we didn't have sex then, but because, again, for me, at this particular stage in my life.
But you knew her. So let's break it down. You knew her, or you knew of her?
I knew of her. She was in my circle, but it wasn't like, you know, we were good friends. But it was just after talking with her. And again, I go back to the connection part. The connection in what she was saying without me ever having to mention it is what drew me to that point. And it was like, okay, well, I've been through a bunch of relationships. Or I've been through a bunch of situationships where people weren't doing the things that I was looking for, and in the reverse. So when we were having this conversation and she was saying the things that she was thinking and feeling, it was like, hey, I'm good. My search done. I'm good. I don't have to. Hey.
Yeah, you felt like you found what you needed.
This was what it was, and you know, we made the decision to move forward with that. But in the past, there have been same situations. I met a young lady one day riding past, and she was at a bus stop. One of the greatest love affairs I've ever had. It lasted for that day. I never saw her again, but we connected like that.
Oh, wow. Well, you're listening to 88.1 FM WHPR. This is Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream. And we're talking about breaking your own heart and the red flags of dating. And we started out this segment with, is sex on the first date a red flag? We have somebody on here talking about some heated massage elements. Get off my page, advertising your stuff. I'm not interested. Robert Craig says older men and women. That's on that top. I think right. So what I'm gathering from that is as we age, we can make those decisions and make them a little bit better. I say, I don't care how attractive you look, what you looking like, or whatever. My integrity and morals and values at 55 years old, that's going to be a no.
Okay.
I'm going to keep you in the oven on low till I want to turn up the heat.
See?
But it ain't going to be on day one.
Okay.
I'm not on day one.
Well, again, it depends on. For me, it's always based on the connection. Because again, I've had situationships where I've waited, we've waited, got together intimately, and tanked immediately after.
So Robert said it's a red flag. And one lady said, like, no, absolutely not. That's desperation, and they won't respect you later. So that's interesting to find what people are saying. I'm going to tell you this. Let's talk about desperation. I'm at the emergency room for myself.
Right.
I had an allergic reaction to some medication. This was maybe, you and I talked about this. I think this was probably like 6 weeks ago or whatever. So I'm in the emergency room and I'm just sick. And the brother come up to me and he was like, your hair is gorgeous. Now, first of all, it wasn't even combed. It was a little bit worse than it is today. It was just like all over the place. And so I'm like, thank you, but I'm buckled over like this. I'm buckled over because I'm the patient. So he said, do you like men? And I'm like, okay, now bruh just really want me to go off on him. But I was like, yeah. He said, do you have one? I said, yeah. He was like, oh, all right. And he kept it moving. When I wrote that on Facebook, I got a response back from you saying, give a brother a break. I'm going to shoot my shot at the friend of the court.
That's
shoot
right.
your shot
Wherever you at.
So let's talk about that too. Is how a brother approach you a red flag? Because my sign was stop sign. First of all, I'm not having sex on the first date. But even if I want to talk to you, how you approach me is important. And don't even ask me that 1973 question. What's your sign? Stop sign. It's stop sign. I'm going to need you to stop. You're not even making no sense to me right now. Get out of here with what you're talking about.
We're going to have to put that one on the T-shirt. What's your sign?
What's your sign? Stop sign. Yes, please stop it because you're getting on my nerves. You're giving me PTSD and I'm going to start cursing or something. So I need you to
that
just
excites
stop.
Some people.
Do it.
Yeah, men love strong women, especially ones that they see that aren't pushovers. That just make the challenge even that much better.
Oh my God!
Like, oh, you got some integrity. Gonna stand for yourself, huh? All right, come on over here. That's what a lot of guys look for that.
Because when you said you would shoot your shot in the friend of the court, I would be looking. If you come up to me in the friend of the court and you shoot your shot, I would be wondering, like, okay, first of all, why are you here? So now I'm going to overstep a lot of boundaries with you, because I want to know why you here. Are you in arrears? Like, why are you here?
Hey,
because we ain't getting ready to.
Conversation starters always lead to great relationships. So if I'm in the friend of the court and you're in the friend of the court, evidently we hear about some kids.
So speaking of sex, we at the friend of the court about some kids. You want to have a baby or something?
I don't have any sons, so, hey. At least you open to having some sex, because there's a lot of women out here that just don't want to have sex. So you have to pick and choose where you want to shoot your shot. Now, I got one place two, and maybe one of those is kind of iffy, where you just shouldn't hit on a woman. And one is at the clinic.
And why you think she got an STD or something?
I ain't even willing to shoot that chance unless it's Rihanna, and I'm just saying.
Boy.
But the other place is prison. But again, even that could be subjective, because if it's a women's prison, they ain't had no.
So Greg Pruitt said that sound crazy. Hey, Greg, I got a lot of my Inkster peeps on here, but what about a funeral? You would shoot your shot at a funeral?
Yes.
That's playing on people's emotions, Tamuk.
Funerals and weddings that's where everybody get hit on that. You can't get a better your opportunities for connecting. don't get no better than at a wedding and at a funeral for that exact reason. They are very emotional. They are looking for some comfort, probably inebriated, and in the air of love. Hey, this is the opportunity. You know what? I ain't got no time to keep going up to Teresa's. Shout out to Teresa's. Trying to sit in the bar, spend $60, $75 on drinks for a bunch of different women that ain't paying me no attention. That's got liquored up off of a whole bunch of other guys there trying to shoot their shot. And I might as well shoot my shot right here where I know you're at and open to this.
So Ashley said, Stephanie said right, because these people are at private parties, and I'm sorry, private parties are nasty with diseases. Ashley says funerals, you get emotional, freaky sex after that. Alrighty then.
Shout out to her.
Tamuk like that. He was like, hey.
I'm just saying.
I don't know about that.
So here's the thing. For a woman, it is a very different situation for a woman and how she is able to pick and choose her mates. For a man, it is pretty much almost a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week job to even be able to connect with a young lady of substance that he would really like to be with.
So you got to go through multiple before
it's a numbers game.
Okay.
I had a whole equation for us. Like, hey, look, you need to meet at least 3 women a day, at a minimum of 5 days a week, and out of those 15 to 21 people, at least half of that would give you a phone number. At least part of those people would respond. And then at least 1 or 2 of those people would be talking about some type of intimacy. So it's a numbers game for a man. Because if he doesn't, he going to be sitting around stressed out, doing things he shouldn't be doing. And so, it's very different for a female. A female, you ain't got to do nothing. You could be at the hospital having an allergic reaction with your hair all over the place. And you know what's going to happen? Hey, how you doing, Valerie?
Yeah, he came over there and tried to hit on me. So, Stephanie is segueing right into the next topic as we go into this next 10 minutes, because she said folks need standards. I believe that they need standards. I have some boundaries, and I have some standards. Okay. I believe everybody should have them.
I believe everybody does. I just think at some point in time they lower them and they adjust them. I'm not going to say lower. They adjust them depending on where they are in their life to accommodate what they need at any particular point in time. Some people are consistent with their standards, but a lot of times we forget that setting these standards and being in these particular positions causes us a whole lot more stress than we normally would have had we say, you know what, today that day, let me shoot my shot.
I hear you. Robert Craig, you need to come on the show because we picked this up. You and Stephanie Rochelle, when I picked this up again, I need you to come on and be my guest. So we're going to have to work that out. Let me say this. We're going to switch gears a little bit. So we talked about sex on the first date. Okay. Some people say, yeah, if you grown, that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. And I'm not mad at you, do you? But I just feel like if I want him to respect me a little more. I ain't trying to say a whole year, but on the first date, I don't know. I just feel like you only get one chance to make a first impression, and I don't want my first impression to be that I'm that loose, resilient, easy, horny, whatever you want to call that moment. I don't want to be perceived as that, but I am grown enough to not to say I got to put a time on it where, well, I'm going to make him wait at least 30 days, or whatever. I'm not saying that, but day one, I don't know. So let's talk about side pieces, because why you laugh? You got a side piece? I'm just waiting.
No, I do not have a side piece. I have been the side piece for multiple situations.
Well, okay, the side piece. But when the side, and it's mostly women. Now, I wish the phone lines could chime in over here. We're in a new studio here at the Black Coffee Show, which I do like. It is very nice on this side, but I bet you those phone lines would be blowing up right now, because what I find with mostly women, a guy could tell them, hey, I'm married, I'm not gonna leave my wife or whatever. We can do this. We can do that. You know, whatever the situation is. But then the side piece want to become the main piece.
Well, that happens.
And when she can't get or do what the main piece is getting or doing, then she want to mess it all up. Know your role.
Know your role.
You started out as the side piece.
Play your position.
So why all of a sudden you want something different? And then the flip side of that, a girl asleep with a guy. Let's talk about back on our subject.
Okay.
Knowing good and well he might not have been everything that she wanted him to be, but she wanted to get on with him. And then she have a baby and want to say he ain't about nothing. He haven't changed. He's the same dude you picked up at the bus stop or wherever you was at, the barbershop or wherever you were. So that one night stand, that sex on the first date became, let's go back to this for a second and then we'll go to the side piece. That sex on the first date became a baby.
Okay.
You would question the paternity, wouldn't you?
Of course. But the flip side to that is there have been, and a lot of side piece situations come about not because of normally those one first night situations. Normally side piece situations come about from the law of proximity and being in close proximity to somebody on a consistent and regular basis. So the majority of these situationships come about at work. It's big example, plant life. We already know. So being around somebody regularly, 8 hours a day, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, 5 days, 6 days out the week, you create relationships.
You get a little chemistry going.
You get a little chemistry. You learn more about them. Because, again, we spend more time at work than we do at home. So you're spending your life in these places and positions with these people, and you're creating relationships. And the longer you're close to somebody and exposed to somebody, and you add in issues at home, those needs start to come out. Well, you know what? Maybe there is this opportunity. And then those situations grow into side piece relationships.
Well, Robert says side piece, there is no role, and it's only sex on the side. Stephanie say, I know my worth. There will be no side pieces here. I'm too grown now.
Well, like I said, I've been a side piece, and I didn't care.
And you was all right with it? But I think it's different from a man and a woman, too. And I see, Marquise, you want to say something? You can chime in on the show. You don't just have to produce. We got our producer over there. He rocking in his chair like, oh, I want to say something so bad. So go ahead. Make your mic high. Let's hear what you got to say.
Most dudes got side pieces anyway. Like, you might not think he does, but he probably do. And I feel like most women should take control of that situation. Like, you should probably know who she is, know what it is, but I don't know, probably, like, I want to say the generation before mine really messed the game up. They started treating the side, like you said, they started treating the side piece like the main piece. So now the main piece feels like, you know what I'm saying? I remember before, like, maybe 90s, 80s, the side piece, you didn't talk to the side piece after a certain time. When you at home, you don't call my phone when I'm at home with my main piece. I'm with the family. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't bring her to the house. You go out with her and meet her somewhere, you know, not where you frequently take your main piece to. You know, you might take your main piece to the 5-star restaurant. You might take the side piece to Coney Island or something like that. Yeah. So
what?
That's how it used to be.
Hey, if I'm the side piece, step your game up. We're not going to no Coney Island.
I mean, but you're the side piece. You don't know nothing no better than Coney Island.
You the side piece. You not
No,
getting treated.
I have a standard. Like,
well, see, that's why you're not the side piece.
Right.
To see your standards is different than what the main piece is requiring. So even if the side piece requires these things, hey, look, you know what this was from the beginning. Look, we not here to date. I'm not here to fall in love with you. You're not here to fall in love with me.
That goes along with what Robert just said, because he said because he's give too much time and he fall as well, and then he probably said the L word, like tell the side piece that he love her.
Yeah, well, you know that happens.
Yeah, that's supposed to be just a play though.
Yeah,
like she's supposed to think that, not you.
And you know, like I said, I've been one, so I've been on both sides of that. So, being in a situation where I knew that the young lady had somebody, we knew what the situation was, but then when her situation changed and she started expressing, well, I want more of this or more of that, and wanted more time, it was like, okay, well, all right, well, we can do this and do that. And then it went south because in all actuality, she was doing to me what she was doing to him, and that's lying. And so it became a problem. So I cut that loose. But in the same time, it was like, hey, look, I done had a female stand outside my apartment. I'm on the 3rd floor, and they were standing outside yelling to the point where my neighbors were calling me like, hey, your crazy friend out here. And I'm like, ooh. Yeah. But even back to what you were talking about, the difference in the time frames is the technology.
Yeah.
So whereas before you couldn't call your main because, again, you didn't have the ability to, you didn't even get a real phone number.
Yeah.
You might have got a pager number. You couldn't get all of that information. What? I had a whole alias. And
what?
Listen, I had a whole alias, and even now you have the ability. I know females right now that have a home phone, a cell phone, a Google Talk number, and for each email that they have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be giving away the game for y'all folks.
Yeah.
But now the technology to be able to create situationships outside of the home is even more exacerbated because of technology. So,
but to me, then you just got to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying about what it is that you want. The whole side piece thing, stay in your lane. If that's the lane you were in. But, I know some guys will be like, well, I'm not happy at home, or my wife not doing this, that, or the other, or she don't do this, and
Right.
I'm not trying to hear nothing about what's going on with your situation. If this is about me and you, make it about me and you. I'm not trying to hear.
Well, see, again, you thinking about where your standards are. Most side piece situations don't evolve like that. They not, because normally for side piece relationships to grow, something is going wrong somewhere in the relationship at home. So their thing is they need to express that. A lot of times the sex is just a byproduct of what happens, but it is the expression of being unhappy at home which creates the relationship and the intimacy, and that's how it grows. And it grows from you complaining about what's not happening at home. My man don't take out the trash. My girl don't cook. She ain't, she bad with the kids. She cuss around the kids. All she do is smoke weed and drink Coronas and want me to buy the Hennessy. But she don't even got no job.
Whoa.
Side piece, you ain't got to worry about all that.
Side piece, you ain't got to worry about none of them issues with her.
So you saying a side piece don't expect nothing? She just
she might expect a lot, but what you gonna give her?
Oh my God!
And then vice versa,
That is ludicrous to me.
Listen, I know females right now they're like, look, don't call me. Matter of fact, after you get done calling me, after I see you, I'm putting you back on the block list, and it happens like that.
Well, we're going to prepare for break. Stephanie, I needed your estrogen in this studio tonight, honey, because I'm about to fall out of my chair. And we don't have a call-in number, but keep those Facebook comments coming up. We're talking about breaking your own heart, relationship red flags. We started out talking about, is sex on a first date a red flag? You're listening to 88.1 FM WHPR, and we will be back after the break.
Burgundy, the window to his soul. It seems he tapes his eyes closed from puffing on. That's what he's puffing on. His style is rough. He wears his hair in cornrows. His jeans hang loose and low. So it's oops, you can't be comfortable. I mean, he's gotta be comfortable.
Now she's the type that's compared to a rose that grew from the concrete. Yeah, what up, Pop? Sweet,
So sweet.
from the streets, yo. You know what I'm talking about. Now she's the opposite of he. Have you ever seen a lion sleep on the bosom of a sheep? It's beautiful.
Yes, they are, baby.
Get thugged though.
She's so beautiful, and he's a thug.
He's a thug.
They're so different, they're very love.
They're in love.
He's so thugged out, she's so beautiful. warm velvet voice on a cold winter's night. Sugar-free, bitter truth, building life from a slang so divine. Soul to soul, their flesh press from a firm grip of onyx tenderness. He signed his name with a venom kiss upon a heart I never heard of such bliss.
Now she's the opposite of he, such as a butterfly and he's a killer bee. Yes, she becomes a victim to his sting, and he's amazed by the colors of her wings. And the life he's led has left him with some scars, but she viewed them all as mere beauty marks. So the moral of the story, plain as can be, he loved her 'cause he is me.
You're mine, you're mine, you're my love.
He's a love. It's so different.
You are listening to 88.1 FM, Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, WHPR, Detroit. We are talking about dating red flags and breaking your own heart and things of that nature. So we started out as sex on the first date, a red flag, and I said yes. You know, a lot of people said, no, you can be with someone for 13 years or more. You met them on the first date and you still together, and that's cool. I know those stories do happen, and those are some of the greatest love stories ever.
Some of the greatest love stories.
And I appreciate and respect that. So I'm not here to judge or look down on anyone. I'm just looking, you know, from my perspective outwardly into this world where we are now. So we talked about that. I had someone hit on me at the emergency room. I'm buckled over and hair all over the place, and he shooting his shot in the ER. I considered it desperation, but, you know, I don't know what he called it, but I considered it desperation. I'm sick, buckled over in the ER, and you shoot your shot telling me my hair look good. First of all, I'm not even feeling good about myself. So if you don't get out of here and get somewhere and sit down.
Well, just because you don't feel good about yourself doesn't mean that that's what we see.
Yeah, that's true, but so so my brother-in-law said nothing wrong with sides. Without the sides, it ain't no meal.
Well, you know,
Oh,
I'm gonna leave that whole
okay.
comment alone. I'm not gonna touch that one.
My friend Regina Taylor said she too damn old to be a side piece. And Stephanie said I was a side piece and we were together every holiday and also went out on the town quite a few times. He also told his wife, you know, there are some times when you can be transparent. Simone said wine, dine, trips, shopping sprees, birthdays, holidays.
That was she was a good side piece. She was really doing a lot.
Yeah, but cause sometimes side pieces jump in the role of wifey, and let's
true.
talk about that. You know, those boundaries, because sometimes we're emotional beings. Women
Right.
are.
Men
know.
are too. I'm just.
Well, they are, but we are more in tune to get tied to someone very quickly, where the man, he might feel those emotions. Some men will tell you, and then others kind of hold back because they don't want to move too soon,
Right.
you know, and say the L word too soon, or, you know, whatever it is. At the point now, I'm not on the market, but if I was, I would definitely ask very poignant questions, you know.
You got the whole interview process.
Not necessarily, because the process is what gets you messed up. Like, I have some criteria,
Okay.
right? But some things I'll compromise on. Other things I'm not compromising on at all. This
Okay.
is just deal breakers for me.
Okay.
But the first thing we need to establish as women, do we even go together? Because just because he took you out a few times and
does
y'all
not
had
mean y'all
sex
in a
or whatever,
relationship.
and you met his sister or his mama, that don't mean you in no relationship. So sometimes we are too quick to think we in a relationship with somebody and we're not in a relationship with them.
That is
So
true.
you need to ask, do we go together?
Yes or no? Circle one.
Yeah, like, do we go together? Are we in a relationship? Those lines get blurred too quickly, and then she's stepping out and, you know, want to bust your windows out your car or, you know, whatever. And then let's talk about, so you do enter into this relationship.
Right.
And you want out of it now.
Okay.
And that person don't.
That happens. That happens. We see that all the time on First 48.
And people get that busting out windows. So how do you gracefully even buy out? So you done had a first date. You had sex on the first. I'm gonna give you a scenario.
All right.
You had sex on the first date with this woman.
Hey,
since
Carmen.
we've already established that that's not a bad thing.
All right.
It is to me.
Okay.
But I'm not judging.
All right.
So you do that.
All right.
Or whatever, and then that first date becomes multiple dates.
Okay.
But you decide you want out,
Okay.
and she don't.
Okay.
Then she get crazy and try to ruin your life. Okay, because you done told all the business on the Pillow Talk. Well, you know, my wife don't wash dishes. And, you know, my wife, y'all talk too much. Y'all tell everything. So you giving her all
the
that
business, all the
business that
info.
she needs to come up against you. You
Right.
know, whatever reason. Stop talking about why you not happy and you need a side piece.
Right.
Because, look, listening ears have a running mouth.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out. So
Yeah.
now she's going to use all of that against you.
Yeah. Again, like I
Now
said,
what you going to do?
like I said, that's how those are the stories that end up on First 48 or in court trying to get PPOs and all of that. And again, it goes back to the boundaries that people initially set, or at least at some point set. Because again, that is what can happen. For me, when I was single and dating, it was I never dated anybody that didn't have something to lose. So because that prevents that from happening.
So you are all strategic with it. That's your next book coming out.
I ain't snitching.
Oh, you're not ready to give up the pimping secrets right now?
No, you can't give, the names. That's the whole thing. See, if you're going to be a side piece and you're going to be true, there are some rules to this. You don't never tell, ever, in life, till death. And even then, you burn all your phones, delete your email history, all that. You don't leave no tracks, no traces. It's like you talk about in the Scouts, leave no trace.
Wow. Stephanie said her side piece, after she was the side piece and she broke up with him, he stalked her big time, sitting up the street at 3 a.m. like stalking. Because sometimes a precedence is set, and then the person wonders, like, why you fed up? Like, we've been doing this all of this time. Why I change now or whatever? I heard a story of a woman who was deathly ill and was on her deathbed.
Yep.
And called. They wanted to give her last rites, so her pastor was there, her husband, and her kids. So she asked all of the kids to leave the room except for the youngest daughter and her husband. And she said since she was dying, she might as well put something in the air, and that is not his daughter. Now, this lady is a grown woman. She didn't die.
Now your business all out there. And you live.
Hey, the Undertaker would have had to glue my lips totally shut with the mortuary glue.
Well,
what was the point in that?
Well, there are some people that are so deeply hurt that their ultimate goal in life is to hurt other people. And it's sad, but again, we have those situations. There are a lot of children out here right now who think they daddy is their daddy and they daddy ain't their daddy.
Lucky Chucky told me to tell you, Stephanie. And Lucky Chucky, that's a catchy name right there. He must have had a lot of luck. He said that good sex had him stalking you. And I think that that's what it is on both sides.
It is. Because good sex, and I've said this plenty of times, good sex will keep you in a bad relationship far longer than you ever were supposed to be in. And it's that excitement of that being taboo. You don't have to keep her, so she got to go home or he got to go home. But y'all can do all the stuff that they can't do with their man, and I ain't got to pay. I don't have to do all the. You get all the benefits of being the man without any other responsibilities of having.
Whoa!
Dun 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 dun.
Not over here, you don't. But do you hear that, ladies? If you can get all of the benefits of being the man and don't have the responsibility,
That's
and this is
win-win.
coming from a man,
That's win-win. You can't beat that.
get on out of here.
'Cause
Stephanie said, I agree. I put it on them. I needed her in here
why
tonight.
did you not make the show today? I'm
Lucky
just saying.
Chucky said, who is my co-host? Yes, I am in the studio with Tamuk Scruggs, and he is my co-host. Let me turn this camera around. There is
How y'all
Tamuk
doing?
right there. I will upload the show from tonight on the Black Coffee No Sugar No Cream Facebook page. I decided to go live on my own page tonight, but in the future I'll be going live from the Black Coffee page. Robert Quagg say he got a question. What is good sex?
Oh, well, in the side.
Marquise, get that mic hot over there. Let me. I'm the only woman in here, so let me.
Well, you know, in the side piece situation, good sex is that's just basic stuff. But great sex, with how you stalking somebody, is that stuff that your man don't do.
But okay, so is you get some type of feeling that you haven't felt before?
Yeah. I mean, I can't really say that on air, which what it is, but you know, it's a lot of things that you know a lot of our people don't participate and practice in that other people do, and it don't take but one thing.
Okay, so your fantasy get fulfilled.
Yeah, your fantasy
gets
yeah.
fulfilled in that moment.
I know a guy right now that cheated on his wife because he found a young lady that loved to choke men. And
You talking about choke, like asphyxiation?
like when they would be intimate, he wanted to be choked. And she loved to choke people. And so there was that connection. There was that common thread, and that's what they did. But he loved his wife, but he didn't love their sex. And so he found somebody that he loved the sex with, and that's what he chose.
But that's the first thing that goes. And so he wasn't looking for a long lasting, till death do us part in that marriage, because I guess
He probably was, and then the sex just broke all that up. He probably was, but then that came, and usually, like, if you got to tell
well,
a
he
woman,
could have got choked by his wife, probably not in the
That's the thi-
bedroom.
that's the
Once
thing.
she
Well,
found out he had a side piece,
if I
she
have
choked
to
the hell out
tell
of him.
you, if I have to tell you, it kind of takes a little bit of. If you just do it, and like I'm like, how does she know? I wanted her to do that. That goes a long way too. Instead of me having to tell you, and then I got to show you, and you might not do it right, and
not just that, but you may not actually want to do it.
yeah.
You may not actually want to do it. There are certain things that some people may want in a relationship, especially sexually or intimately, that some people on the other side don't and will not do, just because.
So
of their
that's a
program.
deal breaker then. When we're talking about red black flags or deal
Yeah, but
breakers,
you might
if
not never
can't-
find that out until after you're in a relationship, because again, when you start out in situations, everybody is putting on is showing their representative, and they're putting on their best front. So after that level of comfortability comes in, when now I'm seeing you and you got on the bonnet, you got on the comfy clothes, and I'm seeing that more than what I saw in the beginning when you were wearing the lingerie, your hair and nails was done all the time, and you were bringing over dinner, and we were going out or doing whatever
Well,
else.
Tamuk now. Okay, so when you're dating,
Shout out to Marcus Holmes.
yeah,
Love
I
his
see
stuff.
Robert said maybe he or she didn't fulfill that desire anymore. So that's
Right.
a perfect segue, because when you're dating,
Right.
if we're not living together, then I get to get my hair done, nails done, and all of that in preparation for
Right.
this time I'm going to spend with you on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
As we become more comfortable with each other and we start to see each other more, I don't maybe have the time to do some of, not me, 'cause
Right.
I'm saying A1, but maybe I've just gotten more comfortable now, and I don't feel like I have to
Put on that
be
front.
as
Right.
sexy or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't
Y'all
know. I
always
think
gotta
it's just a part. If it's a part of you, you should just be that, and don't front. If it's not
Right.
you, don't front.
Right.
I think that everybody deserves, just like don't pull out a wad of money and it's all ones.
It's fun.
Don't
Purpose,
front
yeah.
or whatever it is.
Shout out to Miss Black.
Transparency is important, but I just have not left that last comment that stunned me. Like the guy wanted to be choked, so he left his wife to get choked. All he had to do was let her know he was cheating. She would have choked him. She would have choked the hell out of him.
But see, there are things that you can swap that out with. And even if because I know people who have expressed before they cheated that this is what they liked. And with me being a former swinger, there was a lot of that. So when you have certain kinks, fetishes, likes, whatever, your mate, even if you discuss it with them, may not want to participate.
They might not be into it. I
So
get that.
now you have a choice to make. Do I sacrifice what I love for who I love, or do I sacrifice what I love for who I love? And a lot of times people will say they're going to sacrifice what they love for who they love. But then you have that side piece that slide up, and it's like, yeah, I like it.
So Robert says,
That's what you can come in.
That's when it come in.
does a relationship come with this, or we're strictly talking side piece? Well, Robert, we were talking about when the man met a side piece and she was practicing asphyxiation, so she was choking him, and he liked that because that's something that he wanted his wife to do and she never did. So he got excited and left for the side piece so he could be choked out.
I just,
Which I
one of my
don't
friends just said she would
understand
choke the hell out of somebody.
at all. So someone on Tamuk's laugh said, hey, all he had to do was tell his wife he had a side piece. She would have choked the hell out of him, and we wouldn't even have to be talking about that right now. So that's pretty funny. It's time for us to do another break, and then we're going to come back and do the last 5 minutes. This is an interesting, man. I got to get Robert Craig and Stephanie Rochelle in this studio the next time we talk about dating. I will probably be cracking up laughing, but I know Rob gonna bring it straight and real, and Stephanie will too. So this is going to be really interesting. But again, you know, for the guy who liked asphyxiation, she might, if all he had to do was while he was being intimate with his wife, tell him he had a side piece, and he would have got choked at that moment.
Well, we have to look at it. We have to look at it the opposite too, and that's, you know, she might have. It might be something that she likes. She might want her toes sucked. He might not suck toes, and so now even if she says that, hey, babe, this is what I love, he might look down at your toes and see you got them 9 knuckles down there, and he like, I just can't do it. You ain't had no lotion on your feet since I met you. I don't see nothing coming. I'm not sucking your toes. Go do what you got to do. And then you got a situation.
Wow. Well, this has been an interesting topic. We're going to go to break as we prepare for this last segment because we're going to be running out of time. You've been listening to Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, 88.1 FM WHPR, and we'll be back.
I brought it on myself. I owe no blame to no one else. And now I realize I can't get over you. And though I do my very best, I just can't find happiness. And in my heart is just too hard to hide. I can't get over you. I tried to lose myself in song, but the tides are much too strong. What am I gonna do?
Okay.
Why should we break up if we keep making?
So you're listening to 88.1 FM, Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, Straight Talk with Valerie, and boy, did we shoot straight tonight. Man, that coffee was black and strong. It wasn't even no sugar in the coffee tonight. We went from is having sex on the first date a red flag to side pieces wanting to be the main piece, and someone chimed in. Claude Hawk said, hey, you don't have a meal without no sides. So you need them sides.
You see a lot of people go to churches and get that 3-piece and they don't eat no sides for $1.49. But you know,
Hey, why they start selling 2-piece with no sides though?
There
you
you
just
go,
get the
see?
meat and the biscuits.
That's all
so
you
ain't nobody
need.
trying
Get
to
your
have
quick
them
meal
sides.
and go home. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I guess. Robert said he want to come on. I'm gonna have to hook something up. But yeah, you know, so on the choking, as we prepare to get out of here, we got about 3 minutes, Marquise? 3 minutes. This was a fun show, you know, because sometimes we talk about life in the big city. Sometimes we talk about politics. And sometimes I like to have a little fun, you know, because the goal of Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream is not to spill the tea. It is not to daze you like you had a shot of cheap liquor. It's just to get you to look at things from a different perspective.
Not cheap.
I don't know why I said cheap, because I'm still stuck on the damn cheap date that I'm not, you know, whatever. But I want to thank Mr. Tamuk Scruggs. This is my buddy, my friend. Tamuk wrote a book called I Effed Up, Now What?
Okay, you effed up, now what? Yeah.
So he wrote that book. He's out in the community doing work with Positive Brothers today. And we just appreciate it. So Ashley has a comment on here. You wouldn't believe how many newbies killed themselves trying to get into
She's still on
something
the
without getting real facts. Yeah, you know, that's still on the choking. I'm not choking. No, we're not doing that. So thank you all for tuning in. Lively show. We need to pick this back up. You know, every now and then we get on the Breaking Your Own Heart segment. So we thank you for everything, all of your comments on the Facebook Live. Thank you, Robert Craig, Stephanie. We definitely got to get a show on here. But I want to talk about our hometown, Inktown, as it gets closer to the all-class reunion. So I'm going to reach out. I want to bring a few people in the studio. The Funketeers will be here. Coming up next month. So they're coming on the show because where I'm broadcasting from is where the scene used to be taped. So they're coming in for a little reunion. So thank you all for following the show. I couldn't do it without you. You've been listening to 88.1 FM, Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, Straight Talk with Valerie. We'll see you next Monday.
All right, and just so
It's sad to think that we won't make it, and it's gotten to a point where we can't take it. So we go on, little life. getting to the point where we can't fake it. No, 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 no. For some ungodly reason, we just can't let it die. Because neither one of us wants to be the first. Neither one of us wants to say it. Neither one of us wants to say goodbye. And